Amy from the Cauldron, and in today's episode of Dye Time I'm going to try and dye these Rolags. I have about 100 grams here, but they're so fluffy that I've had to get a really big pan to try and fit them all in. Now I have scoured this fleece and carded it and made these Rolags myself, but there's still bits of muck in here. Now this is actually my favourite bit because it's still got the paint from the sheep on it. I don't know what this fibre type is. It was just, I think it's just general sheep. I don't know. I don't know what the breed was. But I'm just going to add some cold water there. See, it's sort of compressed quite a lot. Now, I don't know if I'm going to regret this. I know I've already sort of carded this, and so this is ready for spinning, but I thought, you know what, I've got all this stuff. Why not just try and spin it? I'm actually not going to do that one. I'm going to leave that to the side. I don't want that colour coming out, but if I can get them all, I probably should have organised these before I started pouring water on. But I'm just going to try and get them all in, going in the same direction. I know it looks like a lot, but it really is just under 100 grams. So there's a lot of air in this. The ones at the bottom are quite wet, but I think I'm going to need to really submerge this. Let this all sit here and get really wet for a good half an hour. And I'm hoping I won't create a huge felted mess at the end. We will see. I'm pressing it down and see the lot of air bubbles coming out. I'm not worried if this isn't all completely saturated by the time I come to dye this. I just don't want it all dry. There we go. So I'm just going to leave this for about, well, I aim to leave it for about 20-30 minutes, but my timing can be a bit off and I might be back several hours later. This has been soaking for probably close to about 40 minutes now, just while I was doing some other dyeing projects and while picking out the dyes and all that. So it's had a good soaking. And the dyes that I've picked out today are Frozen and Nebula Navy. Frozen is an acid dye. Nebula Navy is a fibre reactive dye. Lavender and Silver Grey. These are both fibre reactive dyes from Dyer. And Purple, this acid dye from DT Craft and Design. I know these are generally my colours. I either do blues or greens. So I'm going to start off with Nebula Navy. I've got my mask on, I've got my gloves on, and all of this is dedicated for dyeing. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit up here. There is no acid in here at the moment, but it is on the heat. So it's warm. It's not hot, but it is warm. I'm going to then go into Frozen now with a new spoon. I want to try and make some sort of fade. I don't know if it's going to work, sort of fading from blue to grey to purple. There's quite a lot of water in here. I think I filled up the kettle 3 times. Next up is the Silver Grey. I think I left a bit too much space in between the Nebula Navy and the Frozen. I'm not measuring out how much dye I'm using. I'm just sort of trying to go by feel today, see how it goes. I may regret this, but I may also regret trying to dye Rolags. I'm really hoping it's not going to be a felted mess. Going into Lavender. This can be a really pastel colour, but it is quite intense if you have it quite a lot of it in one go. Really fine powder, like icing sugar. So I feel like I'm using too much there, but I really couldn't get at it. And finally, I'm going to go into the purple. I can't actually remember what sort of shade purple this is, so this is going to be a surprise. I'm just using the end of the spoon for this one because it's a tiny teeny pot. I can't fit my spoon in here, nor can I fit my fingers. Okay, this looks like it's a bit more of a pinky purple. I'm going to add some acid now. Not much left in here. 1, 2, 2 tablespoons. I will get some more vinegar, but I'm just going to push this through. Ooh, that is a really gorgeous pinky purple. And that's a really nice purple. I'm hoping this will go down through the layers of Rolags that we've got. I wonder if I could add another blue in here. I think I was a bit generous with the blues and then forgot that I was actually using 5 colours. Get some more vinegar. Normally I would pour it into my little easy container, which I will do, but for now I'm just going to give a healthy slop of it. Work that through again. That is a beautiful purple. I'm using the same spoon for all of this because I do want the colours to blend. I do want to see all the colours, but I'm not worried about the blues can't mix with the purples. Oops. Maybe I used too much of that nebula navy. We will see. So now this pan actually comes with a lid. I'm really excited about this. I've not used this pan before. I'm going to cover this up and just let it heat. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes once it's heated up enough. That is nice and steamy. I'm happy with that. Don't want it getting too hot and I don't want there to be too much movement on the surface. And you can see there is still loads of dye everywhere. I think that grey has been overtaken by the lavender and I'm not mad. I'm very curious to see if this has gone all the way down. I don't really know how I can... Yeah, that is far too dark for me to be able to tell anything right now. So I'm just going to cover this back up now and leave it for a good 30-40 minutes. Hopefully it will stay nice and steamy. I do have this on low and hopefully that'll be enough time for all this dye to bind to the fibre. It's been about another 40 minutes and there is still loads of dye left in here. I think I must have used far too much. So what I'm going to do now is I have this 100 gram sock blank. I think it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I'm just going to lay it on top and hopefully this will suck up some of that extra dye. Yeah. There is tons of acid in here. So I'm just going to pat this down. Actually, looking at it like this, it doesn't look like there is, well, there is lots of dye, but it doesn't look quite so much as I thought. I want to have more purple, and there's a lot of blue here. So I'm going to, very hot, try and stretch out the purple bit and scrunch up the blue a little bit. There we go. So that's all covered. That's looking really quite nice. So I'm going to leave this for another half an hour. Hopefully it will absorb all the dye. If it doesn't, I can come back with some more yarn to try and soak up that extra dye. I don't want to move the Rolags out of here because I don't like moving the unspun fibre while it's wet. Well, while it's wet and hot. I mean, I don't want to risk felting it. So I'm gonna leave this in here and just cross all my fingers and hope I didn't use too much dye. So yeah, we'll leave this for another 30 minutes at least. Hopefully that'll be enough time for this to absorb everything. It's been another 40 minutes and it looks like certainly those blues have set. That's fantastic. All cleared. Well, it looks like there still might be a hint of purple, but considering what this was like when the sock blank went in, I am super happy with this. So I'm now going to finally turn this off the heat and let it cool down so I can wash it. This is completely cooled down now, so I'm going to start off washing the sock blank because that was on top. very vinegary smelling. And this is just cold tap water, cold with some washing up liquid. And it looks like there's no colour coming out, which I'm very happy with. These colours are really pretty. Yeah, doesn't look like there's any colour coming out of that, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to rinse this through a couple of times, get out all that soap and all that vinegar smell, and then I can hang this out to dry because, yeah, that water is nice and clear. Next, I'm going to try and wash all of this. I very, very carefully transferred all that to my bowl, and if we have a little look, the water is completely clear, which I am very, very happy about. I'm going to very carefully wash this. There's probably too much fibre in this. I'm not sure. I'm going to add a little bit of washing up liquid. Don't want to agitate this. I'm just going to pat this down, let it soak. I don't think there's any colour coming out. I'm not sure if that little hint of blue is reflection of the blue dye in here or if that is a little bit coming out. Either way, I'm not worried because it's not a lot, and this will get spun up, and then once it's spun, you soak it in water anyway to set the twist. So this isn't going to be the last time this gets washed. But I think I'm just going to let it soak and then change the water a few times and then let it dry. I think that's the safest way to not felt all this. And here are the finished Rolags. I've tried to keep them in order, but things have got a bit messy. So here's the Nebula Navy. I think it was Nebula Navy. Yeah, here's the Nebula Navy going into the frozen, going into the lavender, going into the purple. I'm not entirely sure what has happened to the silver grey. There, I think it's sort of mixed up with the purple here and got some nice sort of greyish, purplish colours. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is quite the right order, but you know, I really like how this has gone. And you know, I was really careful. Some bits have sort of stuck together, but in general, I can still draft these. If I pick up any random one, they're not felted. I can still draft them, which is fantastic. So I managed to not felt these. Yay! It's always my big worry when I dye fibre that I'm going to felt it. I really, really like how this purple, that's the DT Craft and Design purple. I love how the colour it is, and I really should use it more. And I think this is going to spin up really, really nicely. I don't know if I'm going to include the spinning in this video or not, but when I do spin it, I will certainly make a video. It might just be a bonus. And here is the sock blank that I laid on top in roughly that order. And I clearly used far too much dye for this fibre because there's quite a lot of dye on this, but it's created a beautiful patchy colourway. And you've got some dark patches, you've got all the colours there, and that purple, it really is gorgeous. If I just move it on screen, I've sort of got a really awkward setup because all this stuff is far too big for my tiny little light box that can just about hold 100 grams skein of yarn. But I really like how it all sort of transitions, and because this is a double stranded sock blank, it means we've got two 50-gram skeins of yarn knitted together. So when this unravels, it will create two matched 50-gram sets of yarn. So they will make lovely socks, like matching socks, matching mittens or something like that. Oh, that's great, I love it. And if you look at because it's a sock blank, it's knitted together, so there are white resist marks throughout as well, sort of a bit more obvious on this side, sort of where it's all been knitted together. So that's going to create some interesting sort of effects as well as everything else that's going on here. I really like how these colours sort of transition into each other. I think they've all gone really, really well together. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I have enjoyed filming it. I pose the question, should you dye Rolags? I'm still not sure really if the answer should be yes, but if you're extremely careful, like I was, you can avoid them felting. And so if you want to dye Rolags and you're very careful, go for it. This probably won't be the last time that I dye Rolags. Please let me know what you think of this video, what you think of these Rolags and the sock blank. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this video, what you think of the Rolags, the sock blank, my methods, everything. Just leave a comment down below. And while you're at it, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. I publish a new video every Monday, usually around 6 PM UK time. And I like to do different things with my videos. So there should always be something different and interesting to watch, hopefully. Thank you so much for watching.